warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So hari ini kita akan belajar tentang tajuk sense organ. Definition: groups of sensory cell responding to specific stimuli such as light, temperature, chemical dan lain-lain. Receptor cells are abundant into special sense organs such as the eye and the ear. Sensory cells in sensory organs able to convert one form of energy into another form of energy, such as light energy to electrical energy in the eyes. Okay, untuk tajuk ni kita akan fokus untuk satu je sense organs, iaitu the eye. So kita kena tahu setiap part dan function part of the eye, which is choroid, retina, fovea, optic nerve, blind spot, vitreous humor, lens, iris, aqueous humor, conjunctiva, cornea, pupil, suspensory ligament, ciliary body and sclera. Parts of eyes and its function. First, sclera, outer coating that protect the cornea. Ciliary body, produce aqueous humor. Suspensory ligament, to hold the lens to its position. Lens, change thickness to refract light to focus on retina. Vitreous and aqueous humor, aid refraction of light. Lacrimal gland, tear gland, produce tears, liquid that contain sodium chloride and sodium hydrogen carbonate. Tears function to keeping moist surface. Also contain lysosome to kill bacteria. Eyelids, blinks, reflex action to prevent dust and other particles getting turned to the surface of the cornea. Blinking also helps to keep the surface moist by moving liquid secretions over the exposed surface. Vision image formation on retina. Light from this point of the object reflected in all directions. Light rays are bent at the cornea and lens. Light brought to focus on retina, so each point of light on the object form a point of light on the retina, making an image. The image formed on the retina is inverted, but your brain interprets the image as being right side up. Next, pupil reflex. The reflex changes the size of the pupil to control the amount of light entering the eye. In bright light, pupil size is reduced as too much light falling on the retina could damage it. In dim light, pupil size is increased to allow as much light as possible to enter the eye to stimulate light sensitive cells. So kalau tengok dekat diagram yang belah kanan ni, yang atas bila ada bright light, pupil akan dikecilkan supaya tidak terlalu banyak light yang masuk sebab dia boleh damage retina. Kalau tengok yang bawah tu, bila dim light, pupil tu akan dibesarkan. The retina detects the brightness of light entering the eye. An impulse passes to the brain along sensory neurons and travels back to the muscles of the iris along motor neurons, triggering a response. The change in size of the pupil due to contraction of radial or circular muscles. Circular muscles and radial muscles work antagonistically. Common misconceptions: students often confuse circular muscles and ciliary muscles. Circular muscles affect the size of the iris. Ciliary muscles affect the shape of the lens. Next, accommodation, focusing on object. The amount of focusing needed by the lens depends on the distance of the object being viewed. Light from near objects requires a more convex lens than light from a distant objects. The shape of the lens needed to accommodate the image is controlled by the ciliary body. So kalau tengok, bila kita tengok objek yang jauh, ciliary body akan control the thickness of the lens so that the light can be focused on the retina. Ni dia punya explanation. Distant object, the ciliary muscle relax. The suspensory ligaments are pulled tight. The lens is pulled thin. Nearby object, the ciliary muscle contracts. The suspensory ligaments are slackened. The lens is allowed to bulge. Distant object, ciliary muscle relax, lens become thinner. Near object, ciliary muscle relax, lens become thicker. As the ciliary muscles are contracted, there is strain on the eye, which can cause a headache if a near object, such as book, computer screen, is viewed for too long. Next, retina. Rods and cones are light-sensitive cells in the retina. When stimulated, they generate electrical impulses which pass to the brain along the optic nerve. The normal retina has Rods that see only black, white and shades of grey and tones. 3 forms of color cones, red, green and blue. Rods function sensitive to low light intensity, detect shades of grey. Distribution found throughout the retina, but none in the center of the fovea or in the blind spot. Provide us with night vision, when we can recognize shapes but not colors. Cones function sensitive only to high light intensity, detect color but don't operate in poor light. Distribution concentrated in the fovea. There are 3 types, sensitive to red, green and blue light. So, ini adalah structure rod and cone. So, they both have synaptic endings, inner segment which have nuclei and disc at the outer segment. Last, blind spot. Point where optic nerve leave the retina. No sensory cells detected here. So, no information will reach the brain. So, kalau tengok dekat diagram tu, blind spot tu adalah di tempat di mana tiada retina. Maksudnya, tiada rod and cone cells dekat blind spot.